Are you wondering, are you his queen or are you just an option? Right? You toss and turn at night, questioning and doubting, second guessing yourself, like reading signals, turning red flags green, and you just don't know if you're important to him, if you're a priority. Then listen to my 5 signs you're just an option to him. Now, in this video, you will discover exactly that, right? Like what actually is happening and what can you actually observe, right? This tangible, practical that tells you immediately that you are indeed an option to him. Now, if you're ready to become the most attractive woman that you can be, then pop into the comment section. I am ready. I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And look, this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want, desires, and pursues you forever. Now, if you like anything about what I wear, what I share, or anything about my background, do me a favor and give it a like. And also don't forget to subscribe for more juicy videos coming your way. And I always say sharing is caring, so forward it to a girlfriend or two if it really helped you. Now, I also highly recommend listen until the very end because I have a surprising added bonus as well that will tell you if you are an option to him. So let's go ahead and dive into the 5 signs that you are just an option. Number 5, he acts different in spotlight than at home, right? So, let's say at home, he's like really loving and he's like really, sweet and all the things. But in public, he's not really, he's not really like showing like big commitment or connection or anything like that. Now, that is, of course, the case because he wants to stay available to other women, right? You're just sort of a friend. You know what I mean? When you go to a bar, right? Like you will not be introduced as sort of the girlfriend, but rather just, just a friend. We're just hanging out, right? But then at home, she treats you like a boyfriend. And so that's like because he's kind of having several irons in the fire, right? He's holding the back door open. And of course, what you need to do is value yourself and act differently, right? Like just really walk out. Now, if you're here new to my channel, let me know where you're watching from. I'm always curious. Number 4, he doesn't ask you any questions. So in other words, he is not inquisitive. Picture yourself on a date, right? And like, he's talking about himself, about his life, about his accomplishments, all those things, right? Like the newest car that he just bought himself, the party that he just went to, whatever it is. But then you notice, wait a minute, he doesn't ask me any questions. Or number 2 is you actually sharing about your experience, maybe about your last vacation, maybe something that happened at work last week, something specific. And he just moves on talking about himself afterwards, right? As opposed to asking you more questions about it, being more inquisitive about it, being more on a journey with you. So when you went to the Taj Mahal, right? Like, then what happened? And then you saw this monkey, and then what happened, right? So he's actually there with you. He's anticipating what you're going to say next, right? He's really invested in what you're saying, right? Unless he's that, like, there's really high chance that you're just an option, right? He's just going through the motions. He just wants to keep you, again, on the back burner in case things don't work out with someone else that he has in mind. Number 3 is he's not available on weekends. Now, whether you met this guy online or in person at the club or in the grocery store, at the gas station, by the way, all true stories. That's where my women have met their guy, right? Including myself. Like he's like not available on the weekends magically. There's like always something, he has like already some gathering going on or a business trip, some engagement. I had one client and this guy magically always on the weekends had events going on in other towns and he had to be there. And it was like for other colleagues or for business partners and to gain their favor, he had to be there, right? But here's the truth, you know what I mean? Like if he's not available on weekends, unless he's like a night nurse or something like that, right? Like he's you're just an option, right? He's not reserving like the Friday night, the Saturday night, right? The prime spots for you, he's reserving them for someone else. So if he's fitting you in into like a Tuesday morning, a Thursday night, even a later night, like a cocktail, right? Just kind of, you feel like kind of fit in. It's like based on his availability, on his schedule, right? He doesn't actually sacrifice his own schedule to fit into your schedule. Chances are that you are an option to him. Now, if you like this video so far, do me a favor, comment, subscribe, and like. Number 2, and I already mentioned it a little bit in the first one, he never calls you his girlfriend, right? So when you're out, he never calls you his girlfriend. You know, he also never calls you his girlfriend when you're just together, right? So that's like that's really, you know, we're just hanging out. Let's just get to know each other better, right? Like let's not take it too fast, right? Like, oh, that's a big word, I'm not ready for this, whatever it is, right? But he never calls you his girlfriend. When I dated this one guy, it was just bizarre. We were always just meeting either at my place or at his place. We would never meet in public. And he would never call me his girlfriend. So I would constantly wonder, wait a minute. So we're hanging out, we're meeting, and all the things, right? He's affectionate and sweet and all the things. But he like never calls me his girlfriend, right? And that left me like so confused. I'm like, well, is this a commitment? Are we in a deep connected long-term relationship? I don't know. And so eventually, of course, turned out after less than 2 months or so of dating that, he wasn't really that interested in me. And as a matter of fact, was like an emotionally unavailable, avoidant attachment style. And finally, number 1 is, I said again, not available on weekends. Let's see what's happening here. So what I want to say instead is actually he doesn't respect you. Okay, for some reason didn't make it. Okay, that's fine. He doesn't respect you. And so what that means is he doesn't take into consideration your opinions, right? Like when you set boundaries, like he just oversteps them anyways. He may even belittle you a little bit. So there's like, this can happen as well. So you want to really pay attention to that, right? Like he's not honoring your opinion. That's a huge red flag, because when a man is truly interested in you, like he wants to make you happy, right? He wants to put his best foot forward. And of course, he wants to know what makes you happy. He honors your opinion, right? He treats you like a queen. Of course, he respects you because he also admires you. So if that's not the case, there's chances are that he is indeed, that you're just an option to him. Now, before I go into my bonus section, what do you think are red flags that he is using you? Let me know in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. And finally, for the bonus, for those of you who stayed until the very end, inconsistent communication, right? So he may text you on a Friday afternoon, and then you don't hear until Thursday, until the next Sunday, maybe 3 weeks later, right? I had like one client, and she didn't hear from this guy. She didn't meet this guy for like 7 months. You know what I mean? They were like texting, but they were not meeting. That's like, no, like you're just an option. Like he clearly has something else going on. Something is more important to him. He has higher priorities. Something else is happening. We don't know what it is. But if he's an inconsistent communicator, right, he has like one foot in the door and one foot out the door. Somewhere inside of himself, he has a parts conflict. Something is happening, right? Like something else or someone else pulls his attention into a different direction, or he's flat out a dismissive, avoidant attachment style, in which case you will always feel like an option. Even if you're not an option, you will still feel like an option, because this man will just not be able to give you that emotional intimacy and maybe even physical intimacy that you truly desire on a regular basis for you to feel safe and trust in the relationship that you have with him. Now, if you want to discover a 30-second trick to make any man desire you, then hop on over to triggerhisdesire.com. The link is also in the description below. And if you haven't done so already, watch next. If a man truly loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. This is it for you for today, ladies. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye bye.